Welcome to Coffee and Conversation. My name is Honorine, and today I'm with Ryan Bauer, who is pursuing an MBA. Ryan, welcome to Coffee and Conversation, and thank you for being with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
First, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Ryan Bauer. I'm originally from a small town, Arizona, just outside of Tucson. After high school, I graduated the Air Force and was active duty for 4 years. After I separated, I decided to move over to Tallahassee to pursue a bachelor's degree in finance and marketing from Florida State. Graduated in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic and immediately started the MBA program, and I will be finishing up next week.
Oh, wow, congrats.
Thank you. Very excited, very excited.
I'm sure that's why you're very busy.
Yeah, yep.
It's a busy time. I did my master at the University of Arizona in Tucson.
Oh, right on. I'm very familiar with the area.
I'm sure. I loved it. So it sounds like you joined the army before going to school, right?
I did 1 semester of community college right after high school and quickly realized that I didn't have a really good plan and I needed to figure out what I wanted to do before just wasting time taking classes that I wasn't particularly interested in, dropping my GPA and just not taking it seriously. So after that first semester, I kind of took a step back and reevaluated my current situation, decided to join the Air Force. And it turned out to be probably the best decision I ever made. I learned so much, got to meet some incredible people, do some incredible things, work on some incredible equipment. I mean, the experience is, you can't put value on something like that.
Amazing. So why the Air Force? What attracted you to the Air Force?
So a lot of my friends after high school joined the military and they joined all the branches. My dad was actually in the Army and my brother was in the Army. So my brother and I are very close, from a year and 5 months apart. So after high school, my brother joined the Army. So he was currently in the Army when I was going to college, and kind of helped me make that decision. And then I decided I didn't really want to necessarily follow in my brother and my father's footsteps by going the Army route. And my grandfather was actually a navigator in the Air Force. And so that kind of piqued my interest. And then a couple of my good friends were also in the Air Force and they pushed me towards that route, and ultimately made the decision, scored high enough on the ASVAB to get in, because the Air Force is kind of picky when it comes to who they want. You got to be pretty smart. And so I'm very thankful that I had a lot of people, a lot of good mentors and people surrounding me to push me and kind of give me the guidance I needed to score high and get a good job and get a good experience out of it.
Amazing. And why did you decide to leave the Air Force and come to FSU?
So it was kind of there's a lot of things going on when I decided to make that transition. A couple things weren't really going right for me in the aspect of where I wanted my career within the Air Force to go. The Air Force wanted me to go one way, I wanted to go a different way. So I ultimately decided to capitalize on my benefits after separating and use the GI Bill to fund my education. And I can't speak enough good things about the GI Bill, especially since I was in college, to where when I was using the GI Bill, the Student Veterans of America was actually able to pass the bill to kind of forego the old requirement of there being a time frame to where you have to use the GI Bill, otherwise you lose it. Now there is no time limit and you can use it as long as you're alive. So that was kind of a big battle that the national SBA progressed towards, and I was really happy to be a part of that.
I'm sure. So Arizona to Florida, it's a long way. Why FSU?
So the first year that I was in the Air Force, I was in Eglin Air Force Base in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. It's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours from Tallahassee. This was back in 2013 when we had Jameis Winston won the championship. So my buddies and I was 19 years old. We had a little bit of change in our pockets. We would come down to Tallahassee every weekend for the home games. And upon getting closer to separating, my brother and I got to talking, and he was in Kansas during his time in the Army. It was very, very cold, flat, windy, just not a good time. He was in the infantry, so he was outside, battling the elements. And he said, I cannot go anywhere cold. I was living in Boise, Idaho at the time with the Air Force, and I loved Boise. I wanted to stay there, but Chad, he just said, no way, I cannot stay, or I cannot live anywhere cold again. I was like, well, I had an awesome time when I was visiting Florida State all those years ago when they won the championship. And being from Arizona, we've never really had a good football team at either of our universities. So we were like, hey, how about we move down there? We'll have actually a good football team to look forward to. Turns out we move in 2017 and Jimbo Fisher leaves us halfway through the season and becomes one of the worst seasons in 40 years. So didn't really get what we were after as far as football, but I mean, we got everything else we needed, and it put us in an environment to where we could really kind of find ourselves, our leadership ability, and just make the most out of our college experience.
Awesome. And so then why did you decide to do an MBA?
So I was kind of talking to a lot of people. I did an internship at Lockheed Martin my junior into senior year summer of undergrad. And I was talking to a lot of them, and a lot of my mentors pushed me to go towards a graduate school route because they said of how impactful it will be later on in my career. They said, you know, it might not be as beneficial right now, but 5 to 10 years down the line when you're trying to move up in management, and they're going to look at the resumes of the guys that you're stacked up against, and those that have the MBA are going to be much more attractive. And I also had enough time left on my GI Bill because my brother really helped me plan this out. So the first semester that I got out of the Air Force, I took 22 credits at community college, and I just paid out of pocket. That way I could set myself up for better success and more longevity within my GI Bill. So I was able to do my bachelor's degree in finance as well as marketing, and then have enough time left over to do a full-time accelerated MBA program. And I think I have 1 or 2 days left of the GI Bill. So if I ever decide to go pursue a PhD or whatever it may be, I will have, 2 days, and those 2 days will cover my tuition for an entire semester. So having that in my back pocket is a huge, huge benefit. But the MBA was just really kind of pressure from my mentors to really see what I'm made of and make an impact on campus as well as my professional life. And it'll better set me up for success to be a successful manager.
Sweet. So what kind of career do you want?
Right now, I am working with TK Elevator down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I'm in sales. And I hope to progress quickly through management, maybe be a branch manager, and then eventually C-suite executive. But that's way down the line. And my life kind of takes twists and turns. I've always been a yes man, so I kind of all over the place. So any opportunity that comes at me, I like to seize hold of it and just make the best out of any situation. So I don't want to kind of bind myself to an ultimate goal. I like to just kind of seize the opportunities in front of me, and whatever is the best outcome is just going to be the things that I choose and the routes that I take and the people I meet along the way.
Well, that's fantastic. You sound very close to your brother. And so he was also a student at FSU, right?
That's correct. We both actually ended up joining the same fraternity, and now we work for the same company. So my brother and I, we've been close our entire lives. Just being a year and 5 months apart and just one grade difference kind of just made that relationship super easy. He's definitely my best friend. I even currently live with him. So we're very, very close. My parents love it.
I'm sure. So did he also do an MBA at FSU, or he stopped after undergrad?
My brother did a Bachelor of Science in Management, and he stopped there. He wanted to get ready in his career, and he's doing awesome. He helped me get the job here, and everybody that I know within my company has just great things to say about my brother. So it makes me feel really good to know that everybody respects him and sees him the way that I do, as, kind of a mentor, very inspiring, and just a driven individual.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm sure your parents love it. What skills would you say you've learned in the Air Force that were very useful for you in your academic journey?
Sure. The most useful skill, and I think that any veteran can tell you this, but the leadership qualities and traits that you pick up in the military are second to none. I mean, from a very young age, because a lot of guys like myself join at just 18 years old, and you're immediately put through a just absolute ringer of tests. And it tests your leadership abilities, your emotional intelligence, and just how you act and react to things. And just, you kind of get years and years worth of experience in just a short amount of time. And so for me, it was really seeing, the great leaders as well as the not so great leaders, and being able to pick up at such a young age in an organization like that is arguably the most diverse organization in the world, because you have people from all walks of life, people that are joining the military from our territories just to get citizenship. So just being able to break through a lot of those barriers that really inhibit a lot of today's society or today's companies was really beneficial to me, to be able to take kind of a step back in whatever situation it may be, and be able to assess difficult situations and kind of stay level-headed and understand that, there's a lot of things that come into play. And it really helped me get a better understanding of how to view things from a big picture aspect, because a lot of things in the military, I'm sure you may have heard the common saying of hurry up and wait. So a lot of the times when you're low ranking, you always are in a hurry to go somewhere, and then you just kind of stand there and wait. And so everybody's always questioning, what's going on here? Why isn't anything happening? But with the experience comes, you're like, okay, I understand we got 200 people right now, and we all need those 200 people to do the same thing. It's going to take a lot of time, and there's a lot of logistics and a lot of paperwork and work that comes into that. So developing my leadership ability, having empathy was a really, really big one for me that I struggled with when I first got into the military, because I was so young and very hard-headed. It was hard to be sympathetic towards other people that had maybe a couple more years of experience than me, but weren't performing as well because they had personal life issues that I didn't have, because I was just 18 years old and single. I didn't know what it was like to be a father, going through a divorce, or whatever it may be. And so being able to see that at such a young age made me really understand how to connect with people better and more effectively lead them. Because if you don't know whoever you're leading on a personal basis, understand what's going on in their life and how you can really connect with them, then I don't think you can be an effective leader. So empathy and leadership were probably my two biggest takeaways from the military that helped me in academia, because I was able to pursue leadership roles within Florida State. I was the president of the Collegiate Veterans Association this past year, and being able to lead such an awesome community that I look up to so much, and then having them come to me for guidance was just so unique to me, and something that I would have never seen myself doing if I would have not pursued the military right after high school. So if I would have just gone straight into college, I don't think I would have been involved in either a social or professional group. So I really look back, and I'm thankful that I had so many impactful leaders shape me and kind of guide me to push myself and take on roles that may be a little bit out of reach in my head. But then once I get into it, as long as you surround yourself by good people, they're going to help you along every step of the way.
Oh, for sure. And how would you say that the Veteran Center has been beneficial for you at FSU?
The Veteran Center is one of the greatest assets that Florida State has. I believe that we are number one in the nation. Military Times may say otherwise, but I truly, truly believe that Florida State University is the most veteran friendly and most veteran empowering campus in the world. The Veteran Center staff, their entire job is to give you the best experience that you can have within academia, and they do everything in their power to keep you connected, to get you job interviews, to find a community that's right for you. If you need support with your benefits, or if you're struggling with anything, they're there for you. And there is so many people that take advantage of these benefits, and that makes me so happy, because I hear a lot about like my other friends that went to different universities, and I tell them about, oh, we have this veteran organization, we have the Veteran Center, because they're asking me questions. How do I do my GI Bill? How do I fill out this? And in my head, I'm like, you guys don't have a Veteran Center? I mean, we have an entire organization just dedicated to helping veterans, which is such an awesome thing for Florida State and Florida in general. Florida is just a really, really great community for us veterans. And I don't have enough good things to say about the Veteran Center, Billy Francis and the rest of the staff. I mean, they were my mentors. They guided me, and I would not be as successful as I am today, or even got into grad school if it wasn't for their help and their guidance. So big shout out to them. I can't thank them enough.
Oh, that's very sweet and inspiring. And so my last question for you is, how do you see yourself in 5 years from today?
That's a great question. The first thing that comes to mind is happy. That
Oh,
is my ultimate goal, is to be happy and to really just be making an impact, whether that be in my personal life or maybe say I have some kids in 5 years, just be making a positive impact in my community, my family, and those around me. Whether that be right now selling elevators or doing something else, it doesn't really matter to me, as long as I, go home at night and I lay down and I think that I'm making a difference in at least one person's life and making positive change. Um, Ultimately, I would love to find a career that would really put me in a position to empower veterans, especially student veterans. The national SVA slogan is telling everybody how great veterans are, and student veterans are among the most valuable assets this country has. And I would love to be in a position to further support that and make it more public to everybody to understand that, a lot of companies seek out veterans, but sometimes it's for the wrong reasons. But I would like to be in a position to empower them and just give back to the community that has given me so much.
so I really like what you say about, empowering student veterans. And do you have any ideas on how would you do that?
I think just constant support and being more open and having those conversations with them, because yes, we do have a lot of benefits, but these benefits aren't so clearly communicated. So I believe that the current system, when you separate from the military, there's a lot of mandatory trainings that you have to go through before they let you separate. And a lot of these trainings are monotonous and not taken very seriously. I know my personal experience, I didn't really pay attention to too much because I already had a plan. But a lot of people don't have a plan, because I was fortunate enough to have some good mentors, like especially my brother helping me out, telling me, how to enroll in the GI Bill, who to talk to. But if it weren't for him, I'd be in the same position as somebody else, and I may have made some mistakes along the way that wouldn't have been able to, capitalize on some of these benefits. So I think a more clear-cut communication and path for veterans transitioning into academia. And I think the Student Veterans of America nationally is doing an absolute incredible job. Jared Lyon is probably the best leader that we could ask for, and he continues to impress me every single day with, just all the change that he's brought and the positivity towards the veterans community is just absolutely amazing. And I can't thank him enough for being one of my mentors. And he's also a Florida State grad, so it's great to have him in such a great position.
Awesome. Well, that was a very inspiring interview. You seem a very happy person, but also a grateful person for everybody that you've met on your way, and that's good to hear. That's really good to hear. So thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it, and I wish you good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be a part of this, and I hope you the most success moving forward.